Hey guys, another little quick tip vid about using stuff for models, doing little tricks. This stuff here, this Pledge with Future Shine, it used to be called Future in big letters by Pledge. That's why everybody calls it Future. But this is the stuff. It comes in a big bottle. You can get this bottle for probably less than what you'd pay for a can of paint, of model paint, you know. And it's a lifetime supply. But I swear I could post 10 videos of different things to do with this stuff that will take your car modeling another notch. You know, for those guys that don't know about this stuff, or you know, have heard of it but never really thought of needing it or using it. Here's one tip, and it's a good one, and it's doing your windshields, your headlight lenses, you know, any of your clear plastic type pieces on your model car. Even if they're in pristine, perfect looking shape, I mean, just clear as can be, dipping them in this Future will make them even more crystal. I mean, it will bling, it'll make that model pop. And I've already started here on my Camaro windshields and my lenses, because they were kind of, there was actually some little type of scratching on them and haze, and they just weren't very super clear. I've already got one dipped, and I've got it laying on a paper towel. So you want to kind of get your stuff ready, get your paper towel out, and this here's a piece of wax paper. And what I did is I poured some Future in a cup here, and I just dropped my windshields and all, you know, cut them out, clean them up, file them, you know, get them all nice and pretty. And then I took some alcohol and cleaned them off, you know, after filing and everything, and you know, it got that dust on it and stuff, and fingerprints. So I take like a little alcohol swab or something, and I clean them off, and then I just dip them in the Future. And there's one sitting down in here. It doesn't have to sit in here and soak or anything like that. It's just, I mean, all you have to do is dip it. But I like to kind of put them in there and swish them around a little bit. Alright, and then get some tweezers and kind of grab it near the edge, you know, something like that, and then let the excess drip off a little bit. Okay, whoop, grab a hold of that again. Alright, let that excess drip off, see? Alright, and then turn it to where the edges are touching the paper towel, so it'll kind of suck off the excess, you know, that's dripping. And it'll just let that stuff, it'll level out. If there's any tiny little bubbles in it, usually they'll just kind of pop, and it'll just let it sit. Alright, and then I got my headlight lenses, and then them tiny little turn signal lenses, and I've cleaned them up, filed them, cut them out and everything, and I'm going to dip them in the Future. Swish it around a bit. Alright, and then I'm going to lay these on this wax paper, because there's a lot of Future on there, and if you leave it on the paper towel, something a little like that, it might glue to that paper towel, and then when you take it off, you got paper on it, and that would suck. So I put these on, like, you can put wax paper, parchment paper, you know, whatever your wife or girlfriend has in the kitchen, go steal some, you know, and then just lay it on there. And these are those tiny little, these are actually the inner turn signals on the Camaro. So I'm going to do something extra with these, because they're orange. I'm going to go ahead and dip them in the Future and let that dry. Let me move these around a bit. You can kind of play with these for a little while, because it takes a good while when you dip stuff like this. It takes a good while for it to dry. Probably, you know, I don't know, I wouldn't touch it for a good 8 hours overnight or something like that. Just leave it alone. Don't get in a hurry. But here's another big key. You need to cover this stuff, because any dust, any hair, you got pets in the house, you smoke or whatever, anything and everything in that area is going to stick to that stuff. So cover it up and leave it. You're done. Okay, the next day when you pick these up, you're gonna have, it looks like, it don't look like glass, it looks like crystal. It has, and it, you know, I know you guys are, you know, do an awesome job with getting those models just candy crystal looking. And when you put these windshields in this stuff and put them in, man, it just adds that extra notch to your build. Really does. For you guys that don't use this, I know a lot of you guys do. But all right, now while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and give another tip on this stuff, and that's making what I call future glue. And what I did was I took the liquid future in the bottle, and I took an old bottle, Tamiya paint bottle, but you can use anything that you can put a cap on. And I filled this bottle up, all right, and I left the lid off. I set the stuff up on a shelf, and I let it just air out for, it was over 2 weeks or so, a little over 2 weeks maybe, and it concentrated down to half the bottle, and it turned into this, what I call future glue. And you can see how thick that stuff is. It's just like honey. I mean, you can let it dry even harder or thicker if you wanted to, but when it gets about like a good thick sticky honey, then you got yourself some future glue. This stuff is awesome. It saves you so much work, and I'll tell you why. Because it will stick to any paint. You don't have to scrape parts. You know, say you've painted your body, and well, let me show you on my Camaro. Like on my Camaro, you know, I got these side lights or side view mirrors. I don't have to go in there and scrape and scrape the mirror base and then glue it, and I don't have to worry about that. All I do, I don't have to worry about chipping my paint or anything. I just take a dab of that future glue with a brush and put a drop in there and then stick my mirror on. Well, it's so thick like honey that it holds it in place, and then when it dries, it's just crystal clear. And you can do this, it will stick chrome. So you don't have to scrape your chrome, you know, and you know, when you're at that point of where your body's painted and you've got your chrome all, you know, ready to go, it's kind of a pain to go back and then scrape and then try to get in here and scrape in and then get some glue in there, and it might come out a little, and to heck with that. Just take you a little of this future glue and run it around where it glues and set it in. Now, it's not going to be as strong as if you scraped and used a liquid glue to, you know, to glue it in. It's not going to be that strong, but it will be pretty darn strong. I mean, how, you know, unless you accidentally hit this grill with something and broke it loose, it's not going to come out. It's there. It's in there. Another beautiful thing about it is when you do use future, like I showed on your windshields and things like that, your glass. You know, I painted the whole interior of this thing. Well, I didn't want to have to scratch around to glue my windshield in. I don't have to worry about that. I'll just take some of that future glue and on a brush and just kind of brush it around the edge. And if a little oozes out, it doesn't matter. It's crystal clear. You'll never see it. Drop your windshield in. It's got future on it, so it's really going to stick. And that's the way I do a lot of this stuff. When I get to the point where my body's painted and I'm adding my details, my bumpers, my grills, my windshields, this is what I use. And I don't worry about painting everything and having to scrape the paint back off for glue. This stuff will stick. Let me tell you, it'll stick. It sticks pretty good. And like on my on this car, you know, where I had to chrome out the sockets where the lights and stuff go. The kit didn't provide any chrome or anything for the lights, but yet they're chromed. I don't know if y'all can see that. You can see where I took, this is just enamel. That's the thing, this future glue, it doesn't matter. You can put it on enamel, lacquer, acrylic, clear lacquer, clear coat, any paint. It does not have any effect on it. But then now I can take some of this future glue and run it around the socket and then stick my Futured light in it, or my lens, and it's stuck in there. It's crystal clear. You would never even know that it's ever been, you'll never see a sign of glue, and you don't have to scrape or worry about it falling back out because you didn't scrape it, or you having to use some other glue, or don't worry about it. Get you some of this Future glue. It'll glue to paint, and it does a great job, and it's crystal clear. I mean, I could gob that stuff inside these sockets, drop my lens in, let it dry, and it will look like a crystal clear lens inside a chrome socket. And no scraping, no worry, okay? The stuff doesn't react with any paint. So, if you guys got some Future, or you're going to get some Future, as soon as you get it, fill you up a little bottle or a jar, find you something, and fill it up, and then just set it up on a shelf somewhere. And just let the stuff evaporate. And then when it's about half of what you filled, you've got your Future glue. And that stuff, it's awesome. It's awesome. I use it all the time. This is probably, if I had a secret weapon to mention, this is my secret weapon. It's just awesome. There's nothing like it. It sticks to everything. It sticks to chrome. But, also keep in mind, I mean, I wouldn't use it for structural. I wouldn't use it like glue my suspension together and axles and parts that, going to take wear and tear, wheels and tires. I wouldn't use it for all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to all your details on your model, your chrome, your lights, your mirrors, your, all that kind of stuff, you don't even worry about scraping or doing anything. Just put a dab of this on there, set your light in or whatever. If you have to tape it down, go ahead and tape it down. But usually you don't have to because the stuff's so thick and sticky. Your windshields, all that kind of stuff, you ain't got to worry. It's crystal clear. If you get a little extra on there, you're a little messy, you'll never see it. And it sticks good. And if worse comes to worse, say a side mirror did get knocked off, I'll just take a little more glue and stick it back on there. It's no big loss, man. It ain't tore it up, it ain't broke off, it just got knocked off or whatever. So, yeah, I guess that would be my secret weapon. And I've got a lot of other stuff to show about this Future liquid. But this is a big one, is this glue. Anybody that has this stuff laying around their shop, make you a bottle of this, let it sit for a few weeks, couple weeks. When it dissolves halfway, you're ready to go. And try it out. You'll love it. But anyway.